responsible.
In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire.
Hello and welcome to the first ever held F1 Race Spec Esports PS4 Regional All-Stars race. My name is Expert and I'll be your commentator for this morning's race here. This is also a multi-region race, so it could be morning, evening, whatever it is. Hello and welcome to the stream. But I will be hosting I'll be commentating the PS4 Tier 1 version of tonight's race. We have 3 tiers and I do believe some of the tiers will be streamed very shortly for the others. But anyway, as you can see on your screen now, for the Regional All-Stars event, the format of the racing will be 3 25% races, one being at Melbourne, Silverstone and Circuit of the Americas, also known as Australia, Britain and America. The details is it's pretty straightforward. It's F1 2019 cars, equal performance, open assist, one-shot quali, which will determine your starting position for the first race around the Melbourne Grand Prix or Australian Grand Prix, and then wherever you finish for that race, you will be reversed for the Silverstone Grand Prix or British Grand Prix, I should say. So if you finish first in the first race at Melbourne, you'll start last for the second race in Silverstone, and then it will be reversed again for the Coda race, and then all your points will be added up for the end result, and that's where you will finish for the overall event. But as you can see, it is 3 25% races as well. But we're going to have a quick look now on your screens. You can see who is going to be lined up here for this morning's PS4 Tier 1 League. It is Chain Game Wow, Gasly 10, Italian Hunter, John Polainen, Geordie F1, Marco Bota 26, Pete Crichton, Plur Papi 075, Plebs RC Seni, I'm just going to guess that, Romeo Alonso, Subzagi, Toddster, Varlo, VFG, VRT, Sharp, Lely and Zephy is your lineup for this afternoon's or morning's race. I'm just gonna say this morning because it's this morning for me. It's so much easier to remember. But it is random cars. It was first in best dress, so I'm not too sure who got what car, but we will see. I'm pretty sure Pete Crichton will be in the Mercedes because that's nothing new. But we're gonna wait for the drivers to head out for their one-shot qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. This will determine where they start the race, and then obviously, as I said before, it will be reversed for the British Grand Prix. As you can see on your screens now, the drivers are starting their one-shot qualifying lap. All drivers opting to qualify on the soft compound of tyre. We're going to select that 2 best. But anyway, it looks like Pete Crichton is still leading the way. It's going to be very hard to commentate over this, considering that it changes every millisecond. Majority of it. But now, VRT Shapelili. I think I'm just going to say Shapelili. I think that's how you said it. I'm sorry if it's not right. But then number 75, Carl, driving the Renault. Looks like him and Pete Crichton are going to be the closest to contention here for this afternoon's race. Or qualifying, I should say. Coming through this left-right chicane now. Very easy to lose the rear. But he does seem to have gained on Pete Crichton there. Did the Renault driver. Break just before the 50-meter ball. Gets it turned in very nicely there. Did the Renault. Through the final sector he goes. Will Pete be able to take that pole position back? Off the Renault driver. Doesn't look like it at this stage. He looks like he's still marginally leading. Is the Renault driver. They're going to come across the line now, and he does take pole position with a 1 minute 20.168. Pete dropped a few tenths there on the Renault driver of VRT Shapelili. I think, I'm always going to get that wrong, but he was 5 tenths of a second faster than anyone else, so congratulations to the Renault driver for taking pole position here for this morning's Australian Grand Prix. We'll read through the results here for your one-shot qualifying session. As you can see, it was VRT Shapelili that took pole position ahead of Pete Crichton and Mercedes. So that's definitely going to be one to watch. This is multi-region as well. A multi-region event, so anyone over the world or any region can compete. Geordie F1 came in P3 as well for Ferrari. Nice job to him. Pierre Papi in P4 for Williams, P5 John Polainen, Toddsley in P6, Plebs in P7, Barlow 8, 9th is Deadly Flu, and rounding out your top 10 is Banana Cake Pie in the Haas, and it's Marco Bota, Go 01 GT, RC Scene, Italian Hunters, and Simzagi round out your top 15 here for this afternoon's Regional All-Stars event. We're going to let the drivers now head over to the grid for the Australian Grand Prix. As you can see now, the drivers are heading out for their formation lap around the Albert Park circuit. Bring up all the telemetry for you guys. But anyway, as we just read out, it was the Renault of Shapelili that took out pole position 5 tenths of a second ahead of Pete Crichton in that Mercedes. Geordie F1 is in P3 as well for Ferrari, ahead of Pierre Papi in the Williams. A lot of these drivers are international as well. None of them are really all from the same region. As I think the majority of them are Australian or Oceanic region, but there are more, I should say, there are more Australians combined than all of the other drivers. But we've got Germans, we've got British, we've got Scottish, I think there was as well. So John Polanen was in P5. Then Todd's in the Mercedes as a riding on board now with. Came in P6. He's going to be wanting to move up a few more positions than where he is right now. Plebs is in P7 as well. And the McLaren, he's going to be one to watch as well. Vario 87, P8. Barlow, sorry. Deadly Flew in P9 for Toro Rosso and rounding out your top 10, as I said before. The harsh driver of Banana Cake Pie. Marco Bota 26 in P11. P12 is Go Zero on G2. Hello? Alright, my mic was not... I just went to look at the stream. It said that my mic was working on OBS, so I thought it was perfectly fine, but obviously it wasn't. So I do apologise for that. Hopefully that does fix. But anyway. Heading on to lap 13 now. Do the drivers. I've just been commentating to myself the whole time, basically. P. Crichton is still leading the way. He led the way after the pit stops because unfortunately Shea Lilly did have that incident through the left right chicane. He unfortunately got on the exit curbs a bit too much and spun up the rear wheels and lost traction and spun it into the wall. So that's unfortunate there for the Renault driver. So he's going to, I'm not too sure how it works if DNF drivers do start from first to the next race, but anyway. P. Crichton leads the way ahead of Geordie F1 in P2. P3 is John Polainen, who has Plebs behind him in P4. Toddy in P5. P6 is RC Senni, who has now lapping Ghost 01 GT's Ghost car. Varlo in P8, who's still in that little battle there with Deadly Flu in P... Varlo's in P7, I should say. Deadly Flu in P8. P9 is Marco Boda. Italian Hunters rounds out your top 10 for McLaren. P11 is Banana Cake Pie. Ghost 01 GT in 12. And P13 is Simzaki, but that's actually Deadly Flu that is unfortunately retired from the session. He's done a Chapelli. I think that's how you say it. Chapelli. But anyway. He's done the exact same thing as what the Renault driver's done. And he's put it in the wall on the exit of the chicane. You can see his Toro Rosso car in the middle of the track. Unfortunate there for the Toro Rosso car. But now P. Crichton heads on to the penultimate lap. John Polainen is still within 0.5 of a second to Geordie F1 in front of him. Audio's working good now. He's definitely closer than what he has been in other laps. Is John Polainen. Will he dive down the inside? No, he's going to wait for DRS, I reckon, for this next straight after the left-right chicane. He's got the run. So I wouldn't be running in hot lap. I'd just be running in none here, just trying to save as much as possible. But Geordie does squeeze him into the wall. He tried to go for a gap that was closing at a rapid amount of speed to John Polainen, but he's going to go to the outside here. Is the Alfa Romeo driver. It's Ferrari versus Alfa Romeo. He gets the crisscross though, does John Polainen. He's going to go back down the inside as they head into the third sector. They make wheel-to-wheel contact and John Polainen has spun around. So that's unfortunate there for the Alfa Romeo driver. He's going to be dropping positions left, right and centre. I think Varlo's a little bit too far behind, but hopefully he can get back on track. Yes, he can. So he looks like he's going to come home for P6. I'm not too sure how much space Geordie left there, but he's unfortunately spun around again. Has John Polainen with those heated tyres. Very easy to overheat the tyres in this F1 game. The P. Crichton is now heading into the second sector for the final time around the Albert Park Street Circuit. He leads the way still, does P. Crichton. He has a pretty comfortable gap between him and Geordie F1. Just under 4.5 seconds between the Mercedes and the Ferrari. Plebs has now moved up into P3 after all those incidents. Toddster's now into P4. He's got RC Scene behind him as well, so he actually looks like he's catching up to Toddster, but it won't have enough laps, I don't think, to make the move. Unless Daniel Ricciardo's this corner. Nah, he was never going to make it anyway. Locks up the inside front, so that just pushed him wide. But you can see how much he's gaining on Toddster. Toddster's tyre wear definitely seems to be struggling a bit. And he does make a very nice save there. Does RC Sene? I'm not too sure how you say it. But anyway. Comes across the line now. And P. Crichton takes the first race here of the Race Spec Esports PS4 Regional All-Stars. He takes the win ahead of Plebs now, who moves ahead of Geordie after a time penalty given to him. So Plebs has come home P2. Geordie's going to come home P3. Todd's the P4 for Mercedes. Mercedes 1-4. P5 for the Renault of RC Scene. P6 is Varlo. P7 is John Polainen, who unfortunately had that incident there with Geordie. He's not going to be very happy with that. P8 is Marco Boda for Red Bull. P9 coming through the final corner now, just scrapes the wall on the exit of the final corner. He's going to come home. P9 is Italian Hunters, and last driver now, Banana Cake Pie, is going to come home in P10 for the Australian Grand Prix. Next track, I do believe it is the Silverstone Circuit, otherwise known as the British Grand Prix. It will be a reverse grid, so at this stage it will be Ghost 01 GT that will start on pole position. As you can see, drivers heading out onto the podium. Congratulations to our podium getters. But anyway, for the next race, I'm not too sure how it's going to be run. If it's DNFs, we'll start first. But if it is, it will be VRT Shaplelli, I think it is. We'll start from pole position ahead of Pierre Papi in P14. Simzagi will start P3 ahead of Deadly Flu. That's your second row. Ghost 01 GT and Banana Cake Pie will be your third row. But I'm just going to read your first 6 out, just in case if I get it wrong. But these are your provisional results here for the Australian Grand Prix. We're going to be right back with you. We're just going to quickly change it over to the British Grand Prix, or set up the race for you guys. And we'll be back in about a minute's time or so, I do believe. But stay tuned. Testing, testing. Alright. My mic is working, which is a good sign. Finally. But the drivers are now heading out for their second race of the PS4 Regional All-Stars event. Waiting for them to head over to the grid. Alright, as you can see now, the drivers are heading out for their formation lap. That's somewhat surprising. I didn't think it would be, even if you did DNF. I thought you would still be starting somewhere else on the grid. But anyway, the man that started on pole for the last race is starting on pole again. For the British Grand Prix. It is VRT Shape Lily that is sitting on pole position as it stands ahead of Pierre Papi 075, MP2 for Williams. Simzagi is MP3 for Ferrari, who is on the grid still. Deadly Flu MP4, so these two may have had a little bit of an incident. Banana Cake's going to be MP5 for Haas. P6 is Italian Hunters. P7, Marco Bota. P8 is John Polline, and P9 is Valo 87, and rounding out top 10 is RC Seni. And then it will be Todd Steen P11, Geordie P12, P13 is Plebs, and doing pretty much the first challenge will be P Crichton. It's going to be a hectic start, pretty much. Or put it in simplest terms. Waiting now for the drivers to finish their formation lap. It's actually the Renault there, our pole position leader, that spun around. That could potentially heat his tyres up massively. The Fischer spun around on the exit of that right hand. I'm going to quickly bring up a track map because I always get that corner name wrong. I'm going to find what that corner name is. Anyway, now the drivers are forming up on the grid. P Crichton is formed up, and now we're waiting for our pole position man. The light sequence is about to begin. You can see it is starting now. There's 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5 red lights ahead of the drivers. And the lights are out, and they are underway. He gets a very nice start, though. Does the Renault driver? It looks like that Pierre Papi got a very nice start as well. He's going to come across to the racing line for turn 1, so he gets the best possible run. Will the Williams dive down the inside into turn 2? It looks like he's going to try to. He goes down the inside, does Pierre Papi, but he doesn't make the move, and that's the Haas there of Banana Cake Pie spinning off on the exit of turn 3. And that's also there, the Renault of RC Seni spinning around in P13 now. So we've had 2 incidents already at the start of this Grand Prix, a Haas and a Renault spinning around. But it is a VRC Shape Lily who's leading the way ahead of Pierre Papi, MP2, P3. It's Marco Bota, who now has Simzagi going around the outside of him, trying to make a move for that P3 position. Deadly Flu now is in P4. For P4, I should say, they're fighting for these 2 drivers. But now, as you can see, that's a Mercedes there of P Crichton trying to get ahead of Geordie F1. There's actually another spin-off there, and that was Italian Hunters that has unfortunately spun around on the exit of the Cops corner. But now they head into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. I think that's 3 drivers that have unfortunately spun around, but it looks like, you can see here, P. Crine is right behind his teammate Todster. I don't think Todster will hold Pete up. He will most likely let him through at this corner. He goes very deep into the corner. No, he's actually is fighting it. It's Todster, and they unfortunately made contact, and now that's made Varlo get ahead of, or split the 2 Mercedes, I should say. He's actually spun around again, has Todster. So unfortunately, he's had another incident there with Varlo, and he's been spun around as a Mercedes driver heading into turn 1. So that's unfortunate there for the Mercedes driver. He's going to have a little bit of work to do. But now Plebs is making a move on Varlo. Heading into Brooklyn, they go. He was given 0 space there. Was Plebs. So Varlo seems to be the dodging ball, the wrecking ball at the moment. And he's unfortunately spun around. Again, has Plebs. So I don't think anyone really wants to be racing Varlo at the moment as it stands. He's caused the majority of the incidents, but now that's P. Crichton making a move on Simzagi. Heading into Cops corner they went. Now they are heading into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. But anyway, they're about to start lap 3. They're going down the Hanger Straight, heading into Stowe. He leads the way, still does the Renault of VRT Shade Lily MP1. P2 at the moment is Pierre Papi. And that's actually the Mercedes there. Or was that a Mercedes? No, it wasn't. It was a Ferrari. I thought Geordie was making a move on Marco. But anyway, it's Marco MP3 at the moment, who is leading Geordie MP4. P5 is Deadly Flu. P6 is now P. Crichton. P7 is Simzagi ahead of Varlo 87 MP8. P9 is Banana Cake, who was unfortunately spun around. So is Plebs MP10. Todster is also spun around in P11. So is Italian Hunters. So is RC Seni. And I'm not too sure what's happened with John Polinen here. I'm not too sure what's happened with him. Has he made a pit stop? He has made a pit stop, has John Polinen. So he's had to come into the pits very early, has the Alfa Romeo driver. But anyway, the drivers that have moved up the most spots at the moment is P. Crichton and Geordie F1. They both moved up 8 spots, so that could be a little tight contention for driver of the day. He's catching up now to Deadly Flu is P. Crichton as he's going through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Heading onto the Hanger Straight they go. Doesn't look like he's going to be close enough to make a move into Stowe. Onto the front straight, the driver's ahead. He's got a very nice run though, has P. Crichton. Heading into turn 1, is he going to go down the inside? I probably wouldn't if I was him, just to be safe. He unfortunately lifted off the accelerator a bit too much, but will he dive down the inside? Heading into Club Village, I should say. He's actually lost the rear massively, has the Toro Rosso driver, so it looks like P. Crichton's going to try and go around the outside. I do not like that camera angle. I don't know why it does it. But anyway, they're still going side by side. It's the Mercedes and the Toro Rosso. Heading down the Wellington Straight they go. Into Brooklands and Luffield. He's right on the rear of that Toro Rosso. Is P. Crichton, gets a bit of oversteer there. Will he have enough slipstream or speed down this next straight here? Heading into Cops to make a move. It doesn't look like he will. And that's actually Deadly Flow getting ahead there in the straight line speed, but he gets a very bad exit through Cops. As you can see, P. Crichton's got no ERS available to him. He's got 5%. Compared to Deadly Flow with 10, which isn't really much either way. Up in a hot lap he goes. That's P. Crichton with 0 ERS pretty much. He's going to try and go down the inside, heading into the Stowe corner. Looks like he's going to easily get that move done. He does. He moves up into P4 now, does P. Crichton. Geordie has now moved himself up into P2. And now that's actually, I do believe, the race leader that has now made a pit stop. He has made a pit stop, so him, John Plinen, and Toddy have all made a pit stop. Will we see any other drivers make a pit stop this lap? Pierre Papi's going around again. Geordie and Pete Crichton are still sitting at that 10 spots made up so far. Now he's got his eyes on Marco Bota ahead of him. Italian Hunters have unfortunately left the session, so that's unfortunate for him. Let's have a look at the gap between Geordie and Pierre Papi. There's 2.8 seconds between our two race leaders. That's Italian Hunters now in the pit lane. That's his AI car, if I am correct. It is his AI car, so he unfortunately put on the hard tyre. So that's, if he does join back, he's not going to be having the best times down in P13. I'm not sure what's happening with Todd, so he's unfortunately dropped back down to P14. So I know he has made a pit stop, but will we see a few more drivers come into the pit lane this lap? No, he's staying out again as Pierre Papi. Will Geordie come into the pits? No, he doesn't. Marco Bota stays out. Will Pete Crichton? No, he stays out on track again. He's catching up to the Red Bull, who looks like he's lagging a little bit. Barlow, who's currently sitting in P7, has now got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But Marco had a very bad run there. It looked like that he did. But unfortunately, it was just a little bit of lag there from the Red Bull. Got to remember as well, these guys are from different regions. Pete Crichton obviously being from the Oceanic region, if I'm correct. Marco is European. I'm not too sure. But anyway. John Polina now has moved up ahead of Varlo and Plebs as they are both in the pit lane. Plebs has now gone onto the soft tyre. He must have started on the mediums. He's going to be quick towards the end of this race. Varlo has now gone onto the soft tyre as well. Pete Crichton's now caught up to the rear of Marco. It's going to be a very hard overtake to make for the Mercedes, considering he is lagging very slightly. See, it looked like he was right on him there, but actually wasn't. So I think he's going to have to do it in the pit stops. The only thing I could suggest would be pit early, come into the pits this lap and try an undercut, or if he does, then make the overcut work. He does go into the pits, so does Marco. RC Senni has now a 3-second time penalty, 5-second time penalty for Pete Crichton for speeding in the pit lane. Went a little bit too hard into the pits, so we're going to see here, will the Mercedes crew be able to give Pete Crichton a quick enough stop, I should say, to get him out ahead of the Red Bull? He doesn't actually, so now the Red Bull is still ahead of Pete Crichton. He is not going to be happy about that at all. It did look like a pretty slow stop. My words right now are not very good. From the Mercedes AMG team. He still leads the way, does Pierre Papi. 6 laps remain in this Grand Prix. Geordie is now in P2. I'm going to swap this over to stop so we can see who's made a stop. So everyone except for our top 4 at the moment have made a stop. They include Pierre Papi, Geordie, Deadly Flu, and Banana Cake Pie. That's Plebs now moving ahead of RC Senni and Simzagi. Think he passed Simzagi himself, but RC Senni, I'm not too sure what's happening with him. He's actually gone, trying to make a move now on Toddster. Is a Renault. He's close enough. He will have DRS down this back straight. Down the Wellington straight they go into not Luffield. Brooklands. He actually turns him. There does RC Senni. So now he has turned the Mercedes of Toddster. Will he redress that position? Because that was definitely his fault. He was way too far back if I'm short. But anyway. He was already turning into the corner. It was Toddster. But anyway, I'm not going to get into politics of that because I'm just not going to get into politics. But anyway. Geordie still leads the way, but he has not made a pit stop. Pierre Puppy's now in the pits, so is Deadly Flu and Banana Cake Pie. He hasn't actually got his team ready. Banana Cake Pie hadn't got his team ready. I'm not too sure what's actually happened there. His team, okay, I think it might have just been a glitch. So his team was, he actually did get his tyres changed, but his team wasn't physically out there, if you know what I mean. You kind of saw it, but anyway. Plevs now jumps Banana Cake Pie in the pit stops into P9. So the only driver that has not made a pit stop now is Geordie F1, which we will most likely see him in the pits this lap. He's stayed out very long on this soft set of tyres, so that could be very interesting to see where he comes out. 22 seconds he's got between him and Pierre Puppy, but it is a very long pit lane around the Silverstone circuit. He is coming into the pits now, is the Ferrari, so we're going to see where he comes out compared to the Renault. I'm pretty sure Shape Lily will come out in front of Geordie. Pierre Puppy, it might be a bit closer though. About 25 seconds between them two. John Polinen as well, since they are pretty close. Pete Crichton still has no ERS I should say, to use. Anyway, let's have a look at Geordie. He's still halfway down the pit lane. Is that Ferrari, I should say. So he's probably going to drop behind Pierre Puppy and John Polinen. So that could be a tight little battle there. They're coming through turn 1 now. He's actually going to drop behind them. So it'll be actually tight between him and P. Crichton. There he is. Geordie F1 comes out in P4. Yellow flag in Sector 3. That's actually Banana Cake now. That is retired from the session. We're going to have a look on board here with Toddster. No, Italian Hunters. We're going to run on board with his AI car to see what's happened to the harsh driver. This could be a little while till we get up to him, but I couldn't actually see his car, so we're going to try and have a look around to see where it is. I'm not too sure. I couldn't see it. Unless he was off to the right there, I couldn't actually see his car, but anyway. Yellow flag in Sector 1 now. So I'm not too sure what's happened there, but anyway. As the drivers are about to start lap 10. They are on lap 9, but they are about to start lap 10. VRT Shape Lily is leading the way. But unfortunately did not score points in the last race, so this will hopefully move him ever so closer to P. Crichton, who is leading the points tally. Pierre Puppy in P2. P3 is John Polinen. P4 is Geordie F1. P5 is P. Crichton, who is actually catching up to Geordie ahead of him. He's gained a little bit of ERS back now, has Pete. Marco Boda in P6. P7 is Deadly Flu. P8 is Varlo. P9 is Plevs in the McLaren and Renier. Top 10 is Simzagi for Ferrari. P11 is RC Seni. P12 is Toddster, and P13 is Italian Hunter's Ghost Car. And unfortunately, we've only had one DNF here in this afternoon's British Grand Prix. Them being Banana Cake Pie. But anyway, if I'm correct as well, Pete Crichton did win the last race in Australia, but Geordie did come home in P2, P2 I should say, but then after time penalties he came home P3, so if I'm correct, Pete Crichton will start on pole position as it stands, ahead of Geordie F1 in P2. It'll be very close between the points though, it'll be whoever beats the other driver. But it looks like it's going to be between Geordie and Pete Crichton battling it out for the Spec Esports Regional All Series PS4 Tier 1 Championship. They are now starting their 11th lap. Other drivers. 2 laps to go after this. After they finish this lap. No one's really close to each other at the moment. The closest is John Polinen and Pierre Puppy. Tim Zagi has now left the session again, so that's unfortunate. His obviously having a few connection issues, but John Polano's got a mega run down the hangar straight. Not the hangar straight. Why do I keep getting the straight names wrong? But anyway, they're going side by side. Heading into Luffield, they go. He manages to keep the position though, does Pierre Papi. John Polano had a lot of straight line speed down that straight. I think that was just due to having a lot of ERS and DRS available to him. But now they're coming into Maggot, Spec, and Chapel. Normally flat out through Maggots. Maggots and Beckett's are normally flat out. Chapel normally just a tad bit of brake to slow the car down. But he's going to have slipstream and DRS again. Is John Polainen. He's running in none, so he's trying to save a little bit of ERS as he has nothing compared to Pierre Papi, who has 50% ERS available to him compared to John Polainen on 30. Geordie's catching up to the back of this train now. The P. Crichton is not catching up either to Geordie F1, so that's unfortunate there. Plebs has now made a move, I do believe, for P8 on Varlo. He has, so that's moved the McLaren driver up into P8. Will John Polano make a move on Pierre Papi? No, he's going to sit behind him. He'll wait for DRS again down this next straight. But now Geordie's actually gone down the inside of John Polano, so that's going to move P. Crichton even closer to that Ferrari. He was very lucky that he could save that because P. Crichton would have moved ahead of that Ferrari. Did not get DRS though, so that's going to be very unfortunate there for the Mercedes driver. Now John Polano and Pierre Papi are going at it again. He's going to try and go around the outside as John Polano. He unfortunately did not have his nose up there far enough, but he's going to try and do the late double apex to get on the gas as soon as possible. He's a lot closer this lap than what he was last lap. They are on the penultimate lap. Pierre Papi now has now got a 3-second time penalty, so that's going to cost him a little bit. I don't believe John Polano or Geordie do. But if Geordie gets another position here, I think that he may be starting on pole position. I'm not too sure, but anyway. You see how much more speed Pierre Papi in the Williams was carrying. Then John Polano. Look how much more straight line speed he's got though. Going 330 k's an hour down the hangar straight, and Pierre Papi was just managing to get to 300. Now heading on to the final lap of the Grand Prix now. Geordie and Pete Crichton are right there as well. He got a lot of oversteer on the exit there of the final corner. So he's definitely going to want, if Geordie makes a move, he's going to have to make sure he is behind that, or right behind that Ferrari in front of him, if not ahead of him, if he wants to start on pole position for the next race, which I'm sure he will want to. Actually, no, it's not points added, it's reverse grid. I completely forgot about that, but he will need it to stay ahead in the points tally, I should say. John Polano is now unfortunately fallen off a little bit from the Williams in front of him, but he will have a 3-second time penalty, so we're going to have a look here. We're going to put that to the leader to see how far he will fall behind. He's going to fall behind Pete Crichton at the stage. Is Pierre Papi. Pierre Papi. He doesn't have enough ERS, does Pete Crichton. But if Geordie can get a very nice run through here, he may be able to make a move on John Polano. Does have slipstream and DRS. Will he make a move into the final corner? Off club. He's using all the track available. Will he dive down the inside? Geordie goes, but he tries to make the move. They do make wheel-to-wheel contact. But John Polano, he does have the switchback maneuver now to Geordie, but will Pete Crichton get around the outside of Geordie? He's going to try and make it work. He does. No, he doesn't actually, because I think Pete just got a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting and gaining an advantage. So I'm not too sure how that's worked out, but I don't think that he did, to be honest, unless I didn't see it, but this is not going to be good for Pete Crichton because he's just going to keep falling positions. He's fallen all the way back down to P7 now. So I'm not too sure how that's going to work out. He may ask for a reprimand on that. But I don't think he, unless they just said because he ran wide on the exit of the final corner, but he was kind of forced to by Geordie because he had him on the inside. So that definitely I don't think was worth a 10-second time penalty. But anyway, Geordie will come home P2 after the time penalties with Pierre Papi. John Polano P3, Pierre Papi P4, P5 is Plebs. for the McLaren team. P6 is Marco Boda. So at this stage, I do believe, well, it will be Geordie. If the time penalty doesn't get taken away from P. Crichton, Geordie will be on the highest amount of points as it stands. We'll have a look when we get into the lobby because it will tell us. Congratulations to our podium getters. But anyway, as you can see now, these are the provisional results here for the British Grand Prix. I do say provisional because they could be changed due to time penalties. But it will look like it will be Banana Cake Pie that will start on pole position ahead of Italian Hunters for the final race around Kota, also known as the US Grand Prix. Toddster will start P3. Next to him will be Simzagi in P4. RC Seni P5. P6 will be Deadly Flu. 7 will be Varlo 87. P8 will be Pete Crichton. P9 Marco Boda and Renier. Top 10 will be Plevs. Puppy in 11. John Poline in 12. 13th will be Geordie. And starting at the back of the grid for the Kota race will be VRT Shapelily. But anyway, we're going to let the drivers now head over to the grid for the... They're going to fly over to America very quickly and head onto the grid for the US Grand Prix. We're going to have a quick look as well when we get into the lobbies to see what the standings are. As you can see on your screen now, it is Geordie F1 that leads the way on 33 points, 1 point ahead of Pete Crichton. So it's basically going to be whoever finishes ahead of the other driver for the win. Plebs can actually still win this. So can VRT Shape Lily. John Poline could probably still win it. Toddster seems to be a little bit too far back, unfortunately, in P6. Pierre Papi in P7. P8 will be Varlo. P9 RC Seni and Renier. Top 10 in the championship will be Deadly Flu. Banana Cake in P11. P12 is Simzagi. So, unfortunately, Simzagi has not scored a point yet. Banana Cake's only scored 1, and Deadly Flu's only scored I should say 2. So, I think the only drivers that could potentially win... Well, it looks like it will be a battle between Geordie and Pete Crichton, but Plevs can technically still win it. So can VRT Shape Lily. So, I think the top 4 out of any of these drivers here can probably win it. John Poline, and if the drivers ahead of him do have a bad race, he could potentially win it. Toddster is a little bit too far back. I think that's probably the cutoff point, unfortunately, for the championship standings. And we're gonna let the drivers now head over to the grid for the US Grand Prix. As you can see now, the drivers are heading out for their formation lap here at the US Grand Prix. Final race here of the Regional All-Stars event for the PS4 Tier 1 Championship. This is a complete battle here between Pete Crichton and Geordie F1. Pete Crichton is actually starting in P6 after that bad result, or that unlucky time penalty, I should say, in the end. So he's going to be starting P6, which is actually 5 positions ahead of his actual rival at the moment of Geordie F1. 4 positions, I should say. The Banana Cake Pie starts on pole position ahead of the other Mercedes of Toddster. RC Senni is in P3 at the moment for Renault. Deadly Flu P4, Varlo P5, P6 is Pete Crichton. He's going to be wanting to just absolutely bolt off the start. He'll be wanting fastest lap and the probable win for this afternoon's Grand Prix. I don't think his teammate Toddster will put up too much of a battle with him. Plevs is in P7 for McLaren. P8 is Pip Harpy. P9 is John Polonen. And then Renier. Top 10 is Geordie F1. VRT Shape Lily in P11. P12 is Simzai. So technically, as we've worked out, anyone that's name is Pete Crichton, Plevs, John Polonen, or Geordie can actually win this here this afternoon. So assuming Plevs is only 4 points behind Pete Crichton, and Pete Crichton is 1 point behind Geordie. So it's pretty much who finishes where. It's pretty much whoever finishes ahead of each other at this stage. I think John Polonen's a few points behind. I think he's on 26. So I think that's about 8 or 9 points behind Geordie at the moment. So I think, if anything, this has actually helped Pete Crichton getting that time penalty around the Silverstone circuit, because he's now got 4 drivers, or 4 cars I should say, between him and his championship rival of Geordie. But anyway, the light sequence is now beginning for the final race of the Spec Esports Regional Series All-Stars. And the lights are out, they are underway. He gets a very nice start there, does Banana Cake. He moves up into P1. He's actually squeezing him now with Todd. So he goes very defensive into turn 1. They're going 3 wide and they try to make a move. Does Todd see absolutely there, squeezed. Deadly Flew to the pit lane exit wall. But now RC Senni's moved up into P2 for Renault. P3 is Deadly Flu. Tots has already dropped 2 spots into P4. Varlo in P5. P6 is P Crime, but now he's made a move on Varlo into P5. He goes. So now he's got his teammate right ahead of him of Deadly Flu. Geordie is now in P8. He's going to have the run here. Is Toddster on Deadly Flu. He's going to have Slipstream. No DRS available yet, as it is only lap 1. He's going to have the Slipstream though. Will he make a move into after the back straight? He does. He's going to go down the inside. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. I'm not too sure what that's for. But P. Crone just sitting behind these two, and he pushes him out wide. Does Toddster. He gets a lot of oversteer though, does Toddy. So he's going to get compromised here. He's going to try and defend to his teammate, but I don't think he is meaning to. I think he's also just trying to defend from the Toro Rosso behind him of Deadly Flu, but he got a nice run there, did Deadly Flu. I think Toddster is pretty much just going to be defending anyone that's in Pete Crichton's way at the moment. And as you can see, that's Banana Cake going very slowly through that final corner. He's going to make a move now. Is the Renault driver. Into turn 1 they go. They're going to go side by side. He's going to be very deep under brakes. I don't know why that camera keeps coming up. I do not like it. But anyway, Banana Cake is in P2 now. He's dropped behind the Renault. But now Pete Crichton is right there as well as they head into the first sector chicanes. Tries to go back down the inside. Does Banana Cake. Sorry, does Pete Crichton, but he was unfortunately not able to. He's got the better run though on Banana Cake. He's going to go down the inside through this little left kink here. He's got the move done. He's not ahead. It's very close. It's 3/100th of a second between these two drivers. He gets it pulled up though, does Pete Crichton. He moves up into P2. He's going to defend the inside now. Is Pete Crichton. He's not going in the slipstream as Banana Cake, so that's somewhat surprising. But now Pete moves up into P2. So now he's got his eyes on RC Senni. So now I don't think Toddster, I'm not too sure if we'll see, because I know Toddster is P. Crichton's teammate, but I wonder if Toddy will defend. He actually dives down the inside now, Banana Cake. Does the Mercedes of Toddy. Does a very late dive bomb. It's very easy to do it there because it is a double left-hand and you do run wide for the first part of those left-hand corners. But I don't think Toddy will be wanting to let Plebs through because the more points Plebs gets, or if he's looking very quick, that's just going to mean that P. Crichton's not going to have as much of an advantage, I should say, to get the points. That doesn't make any sense, but P. Crichton is still sitting in P2 at the moment. He's trying to catch up to the Renault ahead of him. Banana Cake's in P3. He's got Toddster right behind him. Plebs in P5. Deadly Flu, P6. But now let's have a look here. VRT Shape Lily is now sitting in P7. So he's not looking too good at the moment. On points. Sorry, at the moment. He's not looking as quick as he has been in the other races. John Polinen in P8 at the moment. Doesn't seem to have any pace. Same as Geordie at the moment. Has he made a pit stop? I think Geordie's actually made a pit stop. I'm going to have a quick look. He has made a pit stop, so he's trying to do a very early stop here. Now they're going to go side by side as Deadly Flu and Shape Lily. Down the back straight they go. Toro Rosso does have DRS, but so does the Renault in front of him. He's going to slot back into that slipstream. Is a Toro Rosso. Will he dive back down the inside? He's going to do it. This is not good for the Renault. But he does manage to hold it around the outside. Moves up into P6, but now Banana Cake and Plebs are going at it. Through the final sector they go. He's going to have the inside line though, is Plebs. But he's going to try and make a move on Toddster as well, and they've made contact. I don't think Plebs is actually trying to make a move on Toddy there. Just the nature of that corner forced him down the inside of Toddster. And now Toddy's moved up into P3. And now P. Crichton has gone into the lead of the Grand Prix. Heading on to lap 4, there is 10 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. Banana Cake Pie is sitting in P5 at the moment, so he's lost 4 positions. Toddy will be wanting to let Plebs through, because that will potentially affect P. Crichton's championship standings. But then also, I think Toddy will be wanting to get a podium as well. John Polina is now caught up to the rear of this battle pack. Battle packs between Barlow, John Polina and Deadly Flu, Shape Lily, Banana Cake, Plebs and Toddster. So this battle ranges from P3 all the way down to P9. He actually moves down the inside now, does Barlow on John Polina. Looks like John Polina ran a little bit wide. He's going to go back into the slipstream now. Is Barlow, sorry. He's going to try and slide down the inside, but that's the Toro Rosso. Going pretty slow down the straight. And he moves himself up into P8 now, does Varlo. Jump line and now push back down to P9. Plebs is now caught back up to the rear of Toddy. That's actually P. Crichton running very wide there. He's actually lost a little bit of time to the Renault. He's now within a second, so now that he has DRS now. Does RC Senni. Scene. He's going to have DRS as well as Plebs and all the drivers behind him. So Toddy's probably going to go freight train. Did turn 1. Will he defend the inside? He's going to think about it. He doesn't know, but Plebs dive down the inside to take the P2. But now they're going to make it 3 wide on exit. VRT Shade Lily tried to get down the inside on both the Mercedes and the McLaren, but unfortunately was not able to make the move go. Plebs looked like he didn't. He slowed the car up a little bit too much on the apex, which allowed Toddster to still hang it around the outside to keep that momentum going. So now this is the Renault right on the rear of Plebs. He got a very bad exit there, did Plebs. Will he defend the inside line? He's trying to force him out, but he does go down the inside, does the Renault. Will he get the move done? Plebs tries to keep it around the outside. Both these cars are powered by the Renault. He's going to try and slip his nose down the inside is the Renault car. And he gets the move done on Plebs. Will Plebs try and hang it around the outside? No, he doesn't. So now he's going to be pushed back down to P5. VRT Shapelely's finally found a little bit of pace. Will he dive down the inside of Todson? No, he's a little bit too far back. So if I was Plebs here, I'd probably try and keep with that Renault in front of him. And see if he can make a move on Todster. Getting a lot of oversteer there, as you can see. So is Banana Cake and Varlo. John Polanen's still sitting in P8 at the moment. He's moved himself back ahead of Deadly Flu. Geordie is still sitting in P10. Samzagi. I think he's had a few technical issues. But now that's actually P. Crichton, who is in the pit lane. So let's see where he comes out. Compared to Geordie, he will come out way ahead of Geordie. So P. Crichton and VRT Shapelily, the first of the drivers to blink to make a pit stop. So now that leaves the Renault of RC Seni in the lead of the Grand Prix. Todd's the MP2 at the moment, who's pulled out a little bit of a gap to Plebs behind him. Banana Cake MP4, Barlow P5, P6, John Polime. That's actually Toddster that's now spun around. The Mercedes is now spun around on the exit of that off-camber right hand, and he's spun around again. He's not happy at all, is that Mercedes driver? So that's unfortunate there for Toddy. That's his teammate there, Ob P. Crichton. Now getting ahead of him. If you have not signed up for Season 2 of the Race Spec Regional Series, I highly recommend it because we are currently looking at making 3 tiers for the European Series, extending that from 2 to 3. So if you guys are interested in joining the regional series for the Race Spec Esports Championship, we hold a European Series, a Oceanic Series, also known as the Pacific Series, and an American Series. So we're looking to expand the American Series up into 2 tiers if we can get enough drivers. We currently only have 1 at the moment. The Pacific Series looks like it's going to stay with 2 tiers as well. So we have it on all platforms, including Steam, also known as PC, Xbox One, and PS4. So if you are wanting to sign up for Season 2 of the Race Spec Esports Regional Series, there is a link in the description now. As you can see, that was RC Seni now coming out of the pits. He's actually lost a little bit of time there. 2 P. Crichton, 2 seconds. He has now got between him and the Mercedes. Plebs has now pulled out a massive gap to Banana Cake. That's actually Toddy now that is unfortunately retired from the session. He's somewhat rage quit, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But he's now left the session. Unfortunate there for the Mercedes team. Plebs still leads the way, but he has not made a pit stop yet. I'm going to swap this over 2 stops so we can see who has made a stop. So everyone behind P. Crichton at the moment has made a stop. This little battle pack is still going. So John Poline and Deadly Flu, Banana Cake, and Plebs has all still not made a pit stop. And now John Poline is going to dive down the inside of Deadly Flu. He tries to make the move go, but Deadly Flu gave him a lot of space on the apex of the corner, but managed to keep the momentum up midway through the corner. I think the majority of these drivers will be coming to the pits. They'll be seeing Plebs come in the pit. No, he's staying out again. Another lap. Banana Cake is coming into the pits, and Deadly Flu is going to follow him. P. Crichton is now the first of the drivers that have made a pit stop. So Deadly Flu and Banana Cake have now come into the pit lane for their scheduled pit stop. So John Poline and Plebs are the only 2 drivers that have not made a stop at this stage. Currently the driver that has moved up the most positions is currently John Poline, but he has not made a stop, so I think it is P. Crichton. I think we'll probably see Plebs in this lap to chuck on that fresh set of medium tyres. John Poline as well. But this is our theoretical race leader. Still not the right word. I gotta find the actual word for it. But our actual race leader, Pete Crichton, the first of the drivers to make a pit stop ahead of VRT Shapelily, who is now making a move on his teammate for P4, which is actually P2 in this Grand Prix. So he's looking very quick in the second stint now, Shaplili. He's not one of the title contenders for P. Crichton, but... will we see Plebs in this lap? We will. He is coming into the pits. Will we see John Polina in this lap? Runs very wide. No, he's actually staying out again. Oh, because he did start on the medium tyres. So he's going to be going a lot longer into this race. I'd say about maybe one more lap, I'd say. Will John Polina. There's P. Crichton passing. Plebs now. Shaplili now passes for P2. So does RC Scene. So where's Plebs going to come out? Coming towards the end of the pit lane now, so he's probably going to be tight between him and Geordie. Actually not, he's got a pretty big gap between him and the Ferrari. So now he's going to have Varlo in front of him as well. So every driver now has now made a pit stop, except for the leader of John Polinen, who did start on the medium tyres. Five laps remain in this Grand Prix. But as it stands, it will be P. Crichton that will take the Regional All-Stars Race Spec Esports Regional All-Stars PS4 Tier 1 Championship. And I'm not sure. I think Geordie may come home just 1 or 2 points at this stage ahead of Plebs if it stays like this. Be also interesting to see where John Polina comes out. Is he still going? He is still going. But he's only going to have like 4 laps on that soft tyre. That's going to be interesting to see how quick he is. He's definitely losing time to Pete Crichton, but... anyway. At this stage, I think he's going to come out around... actually behind Deadly Flu, because everyone is so close to each other right now. There's only 20 seconds between Deadly Flu and our race leader. But now Banana Cake and Deadly Flu just swap positions. So Banana Cake's moved himself up into P8. Plebs now has a 3-second time penalty as well for multiple corner cutting warning. So does Geordie as well behind him. I actually want to have a look to see who does have the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. It's currently VRT Shaplili, sitting in P3 at the moment, who is trying to chase down Pete Crichton, which he actually is gaining on him. John Polinen needs to make a pit stop this lap if he wants to utilise the maximum amount of grip in that soft tyre. But he will be dropping down right to the back. Guaranteed. He just caught him massively there, did the Renault driver of Shaplili. Will John Polina be in this lap? He is coming into the pits this lap. Now this is going to be the battle for the lead of the US Grand Prix. The final race of the Race Spec Esports Regional Series All-Stars. Regional All-Stars. It's going to be between P. Crichton and Shaplili. Both on different tyre compounds. Shaplili's on the soft tyres, compared to Pete Crichton, who is on the mediums. So he, in theory, should be quicker, Shaplili, which he has proven already, because he does have the softer tyre. Let's have a look to see how long he's actually been on this tyre for. He's been on this tyre for 4 laps compared to Pete Crichton 5 laps. Actually, no, they've both been on for 5 laps. So, anyway, he's going to have the slipstream now. Is Shaplili. Will Pete defend the inside? He does defend the inside line. They're going to go side by side, coming into the hairpin, down the back straight. He's going to try and go around the outside. He does have the softer tyre, and he's managed to make it stick. Has the Renault driver. He's moved himself up into the lead of the Grand Prix. Will Pete dive back down the inside? I think he's going to have to if he wants any chance. It's holding his lead, but he unfortunately ran way too deep. And he got the crisscross move there. Did the Renault of Shaplili. having that softer tyre advantage definitely was better. Starting on the mediums, then swapping onto the softs, definitely helped Shaplili there. They are heading onto lap 12 now. 3 laps remain, including this. So it looks like Shaplili's going to probably run away with this race at this stage, considering he does have the softer tyre. RC Seni at the moment on the mediums. He doesn't look like he's catching up. Trying to find a little battle pack here. It looks like Plebs is actually catching up to Varlo. By the looks of it, he runs wide there, does the Red Bull driver, I should say, of turn 1. He's definitely catching up to Varlo is Plebs. John Polanen doesn't look like he has any pace, or Geordie I should say, any pace compared to the other races, which is obviously very favourable. Or I don't think P. Crime will be complaining about it. He's run very deep though. Has P. Crime, he's trying to keep within that DRS range of Shaplili. So you could potentially think that Shaplili's tyres on the last lap could be falling off ever so slightly compared to Pete Crichton. So on the last lap you may potentially see Pete Crichton have the slightest bit more of grip. Because in a 25% race you definitely do push these tyres very hard. He still is within DRS as Pete Crichton, and he has a little bit of slipstream. He has a lot more DRS though to Shaplili. They head on to the penultimate lap of the US Grand Prix. This is the battle for the lead. We're going to quickly ride on board with Plebs as he's now making a move on Varlo, heading into turn 1. John Planen's right there as well. He's going to try and go around the outside of Varlo, but unfortunately there's too much marbles out on the exit of the track there. Wasn't able to hold onto that position, but we're going to go back to P. Crichton now. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to get a banana cake because I think he just made a move. I think him and Deadly Flu are still going at it. Sorry about that. I keep swapping between people, but P. Crichton now is going to try and make a move on the Renault. He still has one more lap to go, so if I was him, I'd probably try and save a little bit of ERS here so that he can attack him when it comes to the final lap. Locks up the inside front very slightly there, did the Mercedes. He needs to save as much ERS as possible, does Pete Crichton. He has nothing compared to Shaplili at the moment. He has 50% ERS, does the Renault, compared to the Mercedes of 25. There's going to be a tight battle at the end of this race. He's running in low ERS at the moment. Pete Crichton uses all the apex curbing available to him. He will have DRS though. I don't think he'll make a move into turn 1. If I was him, I wouldn't run too high of an ERS here. Yeah, there you go. He's put it back down to none just to try and save as much as possible. He's going to try and go down the inside. It's Pete Crichton. He tries to get the move done. I definitely probably would have waited till the back straight, but that's definitely going to let Shaplili know that he is willing to dive down the inside. Probably just a little bit of a warning overtake there from Pete Crichton. He's got around 30% ERS now, has Pete Crichton, so he's gained that ERS percentage back, so that will help him when it comes to overtaking him down the back straight. Chucks it up into height as Pete Crichton. He's going to try and make a move down this back straight. We're going to ride on board with him. He's going to have the slipstream and DRS. Shaplili tries to break that slipstream. Is he going to move to the left? He doesn't. He's not going to defend. Is Shaplili, and that's going to move Pete Crichton down the inside. He's going to go for the lead of the Grand Prix. He pushes the Renault wide. He's going to try and go back for it, and they made contact. Have the Renault and the Mercedes. If I was Pete, I'd be right on the very left of the track right here, but he's going to try and go around the outside now. It's Shaplili, but he's going to have the better traction out of this corner. Pete Crichton moves himself into the lead of the Grand Prix, but you can see now Shaplili's tyres are going off. He's way too far behind now. It's the Renault. And Pete Crichton is going to take the win. And with that, he's also going to take the Regional All-Stars Championship. Congratulations to the Mercedes driver. But he's fallen back behind Shaplili. After time penalties, I didn't even know Pete had a time penalty. But anyway, so now he's going to come home P2. Is the Mercedes driver. So Shaplili, congratulations to him for winning the race. John Polanen's going to come home P3 as well. Moves ahead of RC Senni. Plebs is going to come home P5. Geordie P6. But it is Pete Crichton that takes home the Race Spec Esports PS4 Regional All-Stars event. Congratulations to the Mercedes AMG team. Anyway, as you can see on the screen now, here are your provisional results here for the United States Grand Prix. Shaplili took home the win for the Renault, slightly ahead of Pete Crichton after time penalties. He had 6 seconds worth of penalties there to Pete Crichton, so he's going to come home P2. P3 was John Polanene in the Alfa Romeo. P4, RC Senni. P5, Plebs. P6, Geordie. P7, Varlo. P8, Deadly Flu. P9, Banana Cake. And rounding out your top 10 will be Todd Stu. Unfortunately, DNF'd the race, and same with Pierre Papi. So congratulations to the German of Shaplili. Then we're going to wait here as well. We're going to swap it over to this. We're going to wait and see when we get back to the lobby to have a look at the championship standings. We'll be right back with you shortly. As you can see on your screen now. Actually, no, you can't. But anyway, I think it was Pete Crichton that did take out the championship, which it definitely was Pete Crichton. So congratulations to him for taking home the inaugural Race Spec Esports PS4 Tier 1 Regional All-Stars race. Remember, Season 2 sign up. Well, Season 2 is nearly here for the Regional Series. This includes the European Series, Pacific Series, and the Americas Series. If you are wanting to sign up for Season 2, there is a link in the description below for you to sign up. Check out all our socials as well. They are in the description. But my name is Expert. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you guys next time.